So, in the train in Montenegro, getting ready to head out here in about 15 minutes. Just show you the area around the train and what one of the rooms looks like. So, we ended up getting a 6-person sleeper. Not what we wanted. But they come down on that, and then you can see before you leave, they've got it down to the seat, and they turn down the beds. Unfortunately, what we were going to get, the plan was to get 2 sleeper berths for each of us, 2 in one, 2 in another, but they didn't have any. And in fact, when I look back on the cars, it doesn't appear they're sold out. It appears that they just didn't have them on this train. We ended up having to move from Montenegro a little early, so we'll vlog the train journey, but I'll deal with the my whole thoughts on Montenegro and in a video all into itself, and our scramble basically to get out of this country, and hope everything works out. One thing I will show you, don't know I'll be able to later, is in the distance up on the mountain, there are windmills. And finally, this engine that's sitting on the side of the tracks looks eerily like the engine we saw in Albania. Again, this is, if I didn't mention it already, this is the train from Montenegro to, where are we going? Belgrade, Serbia. So it's a night train, goes overnight. We ended up getting a 6-berth. We paid for the whole thing for 6 people because we had so much freaking luggage. Something that I figured out a way that we're going to pare down that I'll deal with in a future video, letting y'all know. So this train goes overnight, leaves at 7 o'clock in the afternoon from Montenegro, right on the coast. It goes, I think it's supposed to be an 11-hour trip on there. Supposedly it's got some of the best views of any trains in Europe. Unfortunately, the train doesn't have air conditioning, and it's like 90 degrees. So until the train gets moving, it's really hot. I'm like drenched. But it'll be okay. Second tunnel. Hopefully you can see some of that architecture that was up on the mountains, just built into the side. And over here, more ocean. And I think, now we've had 4 people on this trip. Not always like that, but on this one we were. And the tickets for the train, I believe it was we got discounts because there was more of us traveling, and then I think it was 50% off for the second traveler, and 20% off for the second traveler, 50% because my son, is like very young, and another 25% off. Anyway, in euro, the whole thing came, I want to say I paid 100 and, I think it was 128 euro. 128 euro. And I had read and had been told that there's no snacks or there's no food cart on the train or anything, so you need to bring your own waters, your own foods, and be prepared for that trip. Unfortunately, we literally booked this train an hour before it took off, so we were scrambling to get our luggage over, what little snacks we had. So we'll see how the trip works out. It was worth it to get on it, but we had been set for a train for tomorrow, and then they told us that the room we had booked were not going to be available, and we weren't going to be able to carry the whole luggage. So we stopped on this leg of the train, and if you can look across, I'm hoping you can see it, on the mountain across from the train, there's a castle up on the hill overlooking the ocean. Unfortunately, all I have deployed and ready to go is my GoPro, so I'm not able to get a telescopic view of it. Wasn't expecting it to be there. Don't even really know what it was at this point, or what castle, but it's got a huge gate on it. It's really neat looking. So it's about 11:23 at night, and we're on the train from Bar going up to Belgrade, and came to a stop, got everybody up. Police came on, checked the passports. I'm fairly positive it was a Montenegro police officer that did, so they checked the passports, no problem on there. They don't check anything else. That's why his uniform looked like it was Montenegrin. But what was interesting, again, we're doing this train journey during 2021, is that the places we've been in Montenegro today, traveling through on the train, nobody's wearing any masks. Again, you wouldn't even know there was any sort of anything going on in the world unusual on there. And so the whole train journey for hours and hours and hours, nothing happening. And then all of a sudden we get here and they're like, police are coming on, check the passports, have your documents ready. Everybody on the train, the conductors, the people who've been walking around sticking their heads out the window, just passengers all night, everybody's all masked up all of a sudden. And we're like, oh, okay, because we didn't know what the rules were. The internet, as we were coming into, as soon as we crossed the border into Montenegro, we completely lost all internet on all our phones. All of our phones stopped working, even through different providers that we had. Finally got restored here a little bit ago, but before that, for hours, we didn't have any internet connection, any way to look up the stuff, and we had looked it up before, and I couldn't remember all the details. I had it pulled up so on the phone so I could figure it out once we got in here. So that's how it is. When you get to the far end of the line, apparently in Montenegro, that everybody starts taking it seriously again, at least while the policia are around. So anyway, I should be passing, I'm assuming we're getting ready to pass over the border into Serbia, and then they'll come on and check passports and PCR tests and all that good stuff as well. So, last entry about the train ride. I was too tired when this happened in the middle of the night to talk about it, but I wanted to share it with you. So, the train about 1, maybe 2 o'clock in the morning went through. We got stopped at the first Serbian checkpoint where the customs and immigration comes on the train. They come through, they check everybody's passports. Excuse me. They stamp everybody's passports, and that was it. That was the end of it. No further inquiries, nothing like that. The interesting part about that is, again, this is 2021, so this is during the pandemic, and one of the requirements to travel to Serbia from adjacent countries or from anywhere else is you're supposed to have a negative PCR test to get into the country. And they didn't ask for them. Didn't ask anybody on the entire train from them. I don't know the reason for that. I know that I don't think you have to have those if you're a resident of a neighboring country, which I was not, obviously, but they did not ask for those. We did have them. I mean, we paid, before I left on the train journey to go up there, we'd all gotten those, and they were, I think I paid $43 a piece for the PCR test. So we got those. We were negative, of course, but they even though that was required under the thing, they didn't ask for them. So your mileage may vary when you go. I mean, I would always have it, because that's the rules. And if you don't have it, then you're going to get in some trouble, or you're going to get denied entry into the country, and then you paid a lot of money for a train journey for nothing. But just know that, sometimes they'll check and sometimes they won't on there. Other than that, it's a pretty good, I got a pretty good sleep on the train. It was a very long train ride. It was, I think it ended up being a total of exactly just a little over 12 hours. We arrived in just outside of Belgrade about, it's just an hour or two ago, but it was a little after 7 o'clock. So it was just right at 12 hours. So the train made good time. I hear sometimes they take, 13, 14 hours, but this one, very smooth. Everything was on time. The crew was great as far as that goes, and it was a good journey. And you'll see in some of the footage that I put there, it's just beautiful, beautiful country during the daylight. Now, obviously, you don't get to see much at night after hours on a train journey, but during the day, I'm sure it's just absolutely amazing on there. So anyway, so I'm done. I'm going to catch a few more Z's before I have to get up and get around.